Thank you, Matt. Well, we welcome you to ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5 as afternoon turns to evening in Berkeley, California at Memorial Stadium. The 3-1 Oregon Ducks, 23rd ranked team of the country, on the road to take on the 0-3, still winless California Golden Bears. For the Golden Bears of Cal, 0-3, still winless, but feeling, Rod, like they are getting close to that first win.
Yeah, they've been hit by the pandemic, just about every week. But this week, they get a couple of their veteran offensive linemen back. And you can see that over the last couple of weeks, their rushing game has gotten better. So just in time against a defense that has been known to give up some rushing yards.
So will this be the week for Justin Wilcox and his Bears to come up with win number 1 in this strange 2020 season? Kickoff from Berkeley right after this. Back in Berkeley for the Bears and the Ducks. Before we kick this game off, let's go down on the field and say hi for the first time this afternoon to Taylor McGregor. Taylor?
Hi, Dave. Have to tell you about a come to Jesus meeting that the Ducks had following their loss last week. They left that meeting really trying to get back to what makes Oregon, Oregon, and that's their physicality. But head coach Mario Cristobal saying in order to get back to that physicality, it requires a certain mentality. So all throughout practice this week, they really challenged their guys to step up into that mentality, and they feel like they're in a good spot right now. Quarterback Tyler Shough even saying that he's almost glad they lost because they've learned so much. But speaking of adversity, they will be without star wide receiver Devin Williams, who did not make the trip here to Berkeley today.
And that is big news, Taylor, because Devin Williams has emerged the last couple weeks as a fantastic playmaker on the outside for Shough and the Ducks offense. Oregon is going to receive the opening kickoff, so we'll see the Ducks offense on the field first. Mikhail Wright, very dangerous kick returner, will take a knee. And so the Ducks will start from the 25-yard line, and their sophomore quarterback, his first loss as a starter last week against the Beavers. Tyler Shough, kid from Chandler, Arizona, was a very highly regarded high school player, sort of a dual threat. He's a better athlete, I think, than most people even yet know. He wears number 12 in honor of his mom, Dana, who is a huge influence in his life as a great story to tell. And the first few games for Tyler Shough have been really impressive. You think of all the great quarterback play in the history of Oregon football, most yards accounted for in 4 games of anybody in the history of that program through the first 4. Tyler Shough, and his first pass of this game is complete on the right side for a quick first down to Jalen Redd.
Yeah, he had a couple of picks in that game last week, which he felt really badly about, thought they were costly, said that he's got to clean those things up. He's trying to make a name for himself, taking over for Justin Herbert.
He has already done that, I think, in this Pac-12 conference. More touchdown passes through the first 4 weeks than anybody, 10 TDs. He's run the ball effectively than they've asked him to do that. He pitches it right side running to Travis Dye, who gets the first carry for Oregon, and it's a nice first down game.
Oregon is normally a 1 tight end, 1 running back formation. That's their base offense. They've come out with 4 wide receivers here and 1 running back. A little bit of a wrinkle, throw something new to the defense, make them think, see if they can handle something different at the start of the game.
The 2nd and 4, and as the ball gets snapped, whistles blow, penalty flag on the field.
You know the story.
Prior to the snap, false start, 14 of the offense. This is a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Everybody knows you are a 1 back, 1 tight end offense. You don't open with the same gag. You run a different gag. You can't run the same gag twice. You move on to the next gag. We learned that back in Ocean's 13, right?
2nd and 9 after the penalty. A little cinema history. Little pistol formation for the Ducks. Shough fakes it on the jet sweep action, hands the ball off, and in the backfield, Cameron Good, who's having a heck of a year from his linebacker spot for the Bears, a tackle for loss.
Yeah, get to know his name. I mean, he is the guy that Oregon has to pay attention to. If you got 1 guy trying to block him, you are at a disadvantage. They have to know where he is every single play and keep him out of the backfield.
So Cam Good makes it 3rd and 12. First drive of the game from Berkeley. Shough in the pocket, pressured by Good, but had time to throw, and that pass is incomplete. knocked away. It's 4th down, and Oregon's going to have to punt.
Really good start for the Bears defense. And now we'll have your typical Australian punter enter the scene.
And these plays on both sides, Rod, special teams is not to be taken for granted in this game. Nico Remigio is a really talented player. He has had a heck of a hard time for Cal receiving punts. They're sticking with him, so he is back there to return this one. He fields that one cleanly with a fair catch, so no problem that time. But special teams, we will be keeping an eye on that all game long, as the Cal offense will take the field for the first time, led by their junior quarterback Chase Garbers. And Rod, he's quietly had a very solid career from Newport Beach, California. And maybe, look, the stereotype, kids come from Newport Beach, maybe not the toughest. This is a tough kid. He can run the ball, take a hit. He's been banged up at times. His younger brother Ethan is a freshman quarterback for the Huskies of Washington, still waiting for his first chance to play. But Chase Garbers in the Cal offense out there for the first time.
Yeah, he's proven his toughness to a fault. You know, he's got knocked out of games, been injured, and when he's not helping, not on the field, the offense really struggles.
Going to throw the ball on 1st down, and he completes his first pass of the game out to the left side. That's Makai Polk, the sophomore from Northern California.
The challenge for the Bears offense today is to really sort of get the ball down the field and to get back to the running game.
And how about Cal going with some up tempo? They hand the ball off for the first time. Christopher Brown, who's a really talented back, got tackled before he got back to the line of scrimmage. He lost a half yard to set up 3rd down.
Remember, we talked about coming up with something new to start the game, to make the defense think, to try to cause a little shock and awe. You know, tempo for Cal, something that they don't normally do. And from that play, not very well.
3rd and 5. Garbers has plenty of time, now steps up, going to try to run and couldn't get there. So Garbers gets dragged down a good 2 yards short of the 1st down. The true freshman Noah Sewell made the tackle.
You will hear his name an awful lot. He is all over the field. He is a freshman who just flies around and makes plays. Comes from a football family.
Yes, he does. He's still making mistakes as a true freshman, but there are not many players in college football who have more just pure raw talent than that young linebacker. Travis Dye deep to receive this punt from Jamison Sheehan, and a fair catch at about the 21-yard line. So Oregon and Cal trying to bounce back from their disappointments last year. Noah Sewell, a heck of a young talent, forced the Cal Bears to punt the ball away. Well, V-Week, a very important week, not just for us, but especially for us, as Oregon gets the ball back scoreless in the 1st quarter. 11:25 to go. Each team's with a punt in this 1st quarter so far. Tyler Shuck in the pistol formation, back to pass on 1st down, and he'll sling it to the left side. You see some of that arm talent, and Micah Pittman, who is playing for the first time in several weeks for Oregon, super talented sophomore from a great football family, makes his first catch.
Need him back with Devin Williams out. Need him back anyway. He brings a lot of juice to the offense, a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's the word you keep hearing with Micah Pittman. Not just how talented he is, but how energetic on the field, how he fires up his teammates. Dye got the carry on 1st down for the Ducks. There is Micah Pittman.
I also think that besides having Pittman back, you'll see Shuck run the ball more this week. You know, somewhere between 8 to 12 times a game. He didn't run it much last week against Oregon State.
Dye gets another carry, and he will push forward close, and I think he got the 1st down. He did. One other thing to note here in the first few minutes of this game, Rod, is that we haven't yet seen, this isn't totally unusual, but no C.J. Verdell yet, who got banged up last week against Oregon State. So far, 2 series, it's been Travis Dye. We know Verdell is dressed. We saw him during warm-ups, but their top line running back so far has not been out on the field. quicker tempo. There's the run game from Shuck, and there's the speed. He's going to get the first down. There is a penalty flag on the play, but it doesn't take long with number 12 to see all the athletic gifts, the arm strength, the speed, the shiftiness. But this one may be coming back.
Throw. Yeah, everybody knew what he could do throwing the ball.
Number 47 of the defense. This is a 10-yard penalty that will be added to the end of the run.
Wow.
First down.
Okay, so a hold against Cal to add that 10 yards to the end of that run.
You know, the assumption about Shuck was that at 6'5", 220, he was not going to be your ideal quarterback run game kind of guy. But he is quicker, faster, and part of it is that even though he's tall, he's got these short strides, so he can change direction.
I think that was a hold, but you don't see that call made very often on a defender. Shuck overthrew his target trying to find Pittman toward the goal line. Incomplete at second down.
Not often that he overthrows a receiver by that much. He's actually really good out of the pocket, moving either way. Now, if you're Cal, you're looking to free up 19 good.
Inside the 35, some pass rush comes, but it's a screen pass. Beautifully set up dive with all kinds of room and blockers in front. Inside the 20, down to the 14-yard line. Another flag, though, on that play. We'll wait to hear from our Pac-12 referee, Francisco Villar.
Foul. Block below the waist. Defense. This penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal with an automatic first down.
Wow.
Another one you don't see against a defensive player very often.
Yeah, that is usually called on a couple of offensive linemen doing a high-low block. Don't see it there.
Huh.
But that was a perfect call, the screenplay to the side where Good was rushing.
I mean, sometimes it's a little too easy to defer to it's a Pac-12 game. You see stuff with the officials that you don't expect to see, but I mean, already we have seen some unusual calls. And maybe we can spot this one a little better from this angle.
Yeah, right there, 28. 20 going down low on 53, Ryan Walk.
Okay. Johnny Johnson comes in motion. Shuck will hand it off, and Dye gets tripped up. Nice tackle by J.H. Tevis. Second and goal. Tevis had a great big game. 2 sacks against Stanford last week. Cal is still, even though they're healthier, have more bodies than they did a couple weeks ago, so thin along the defensive line.
The defensive line played all 69 snaps.
I don't know that I've ever heard anything quite like that. Shuck to the end zone, incomplete. He had a couple different choices there. It's third down.
Yeah, you wonder how they missed that one. He did have a couple choices. You know, as he rolls to his right, he's got 2 guys in the end zone, one right in front, and boy, it looks like Drayden got his hand in there.
He did. He had DJ Johnson, the tight end, wide open, I think, for a walk-in touchdown. Well, that was a great play by Josh Drayden, the senior. So now it's third and goal for Oregon.
Be concerned about 30, Red, who's in motion.
They handed to Red. No, they faked it to him. Shuck kept it and couldn't get there. So now we'll see what Oregon wants to do on 4th and goal.
How aggressive is Cristobal?
Well, it looks like the offense is coming off the field. They do, Oregon, feel a little better about their kick game after last week. Henry Cattleman, who had never played in a football game, forget a college football game, until last week against Oregon State, made all 5 of his point after tries, made a field goal, was perfect 1 for 1.
That is a tough angle.
It is short field goal, but not an easy angle. Good hold, and that kick is right on through. So Oregon now trusting young Henry Cattleman, and the Ducks get the first 3 points of the game from Berkeley. Oregon takes a 3-0 lead.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits. And in part by Samsung QLED TV, the official TV of ESPN College Football.
Well, it is pretty interesting today how 3 coaches on the Cal side, the head coach, Justin Wilcox, Peter Sirmon, and Bill Musgrave, the 2 coordinators, all 3 played their college football. For the Ducks, the team on the other sideline today, Bill, his first year in Berkeley, first year back in college football, a very decorated, longtime offensive coach in the NFL, back in college for the first time in almost 2 decades. All 3 were very determined to make sure we knew where their allegiances were for this particular game.
They're getting paychecks from Cal, so no issue there. But, you know, those football reunions, they're going to get a lot of grief. There's no doubt about that. Former teammates.
Yeah, those and all 3 were really good players in Eugene. I think especially Bill Musgrave, who was a 4-year starter at quarterback and has had a really interesting career. Played in the NFL mostly as a backup, but has coached for some of the best head coaches in the league in the last couple decades. And I think Cal feels like
at Oregon,
Yeah, Cal feels like, look, it's going to take some time to get his system implemented with all the new terminology this year in particular, without a lot of practice time. Maybe things aren't going to happen as fast as they wanted to, but I think they feel like he's a great fit at Cal. Brown gets the carry on first down for the Bears and gains 4.
Well, this is where you start to figure out what's up with Oregon. Cal goes 2 tight ends and says, we're coming at you. We've seen everything on tape. We've seen the numbers. We've seen you struggle. And you heard Taylor say the challenge this week was be physical. That's the challenge to the Oregon defense.
They have been gashed on the ground, and in particular last week by the super talented Jamar Jefferson of Oregon State. Hodges, tight end in motion. Garber's quick release on a slant, and that one is complete, 2 yards short of the first down. All right, the move means it's time for our Chick-fil-A impact players. Who you got, Rod?
Yeah, I got McKinley, the free safety. He is the quarterback back there, an outstanding young man. And the guy who's got to touch the ball for Cal, Remigio, has not been used much lately. 2 catches last week.
He's got 4 for the year for a total of 9 yards. I mean, that's hard to believe. That was a nice grab for a first down and more for the Bears. So Cal to Kekoa Crawford, who has emerged as their big play guy on the outside, 1st and 10.
Well, they need big plays. You know, Flynn, as we talked this week and did our research, the heavy tendency is for Cal to throw passes less than 10 yards, about 75% of the time. So what that does is the defense starts to really creep up, and you don't stretch them. You know, you have to take more shots down the field. They've only taken 13 shots beyond 20 yards this season.
1st and 10. Garber's looking short again, throws it very short, and a nice move by Makai Polk, cut it inside to turn maybe a yard or 2 gain into a gain of 8.
Yeah, Cal is counting on Yak, yards after the catch. And so what Oregon is doing is sitting back in a little zone, eyes on the quarterback because he can run, he can escape, and eyes on the receivers. They know they can settle in at 10, 12 yards and then attack the routes. They aren't worried about somebody running deep on them. You see McKinley's the deepest one back there, only about 14 yards.
Bears give the ball, and a powerful run over the right side. That's Bradrick Shaw, the grad transfer from Wisconsin, who gets the first down. He has not touched the ball very much in the first 3 games.
They've got a number of backs that they roll in there. Shaw, Dancy, Damian Moore, the freshman, and we've seen Chris Brown.
Yeah, Damian Moore had a terrific big game. First career game for the true freshman, over 100 yards. was dynamic. Shaw stays in with a fullback in front of him.
Couple tight ends again.
One of those, Colin Moore, goes back in motion. They'll fake it to Shaw, throw it short right. Sort of classic West Coast offense there for the completion. And that's Drew Schlegel, the fullback, with the catch for another Cal first down.
Well, this is designed to fool with the eyes of the linebackers. Fullback fakes the block, gets to the outside. A nice little pickup to get you to a nice second down or a first down, and picked up the first down there.
Drew getting congratulated after that catch and run. He doesn't get a chance to make too many plays with the ball in his hands. Another transfer to Cal from Kentucky. Brown back in at tailback on first down. Garber's short drop, throws another slant. It's knocked down, incomplete. Drew Schlegel is not a boring guy, is he, Rod?
No. He has designs on becoming an alpaca farmer. Everybody knows about alpacas, right? I mean, their fur is highly sought after. You can make an awful lot of money as an alpaca farmer. And Taylor, you know about that, right?
Yeah, he told me that it all started at the National Western Stock Show in Denver, where he grew up. He went there and just fell in love with them, and some farmers invited him to their farm to study the alpacas, and he is sold on them, guys.
I can't say I've ever brought that up in a football telecast before, but we have broken new ground with Drew Schlegel. That pass was caught by Gavin Reinwald, tight end of the 20, short of the first down. So third down coming up for Cal. In scoring position here the Bears are, but hoping to convert and have a chance to get to the end zone.
Well, remind me to tell you about alpacas, because I consulted with a veterinarian who studies and takes care of them. Happens to be my daughter, but great info, but not on the third down.
What would the chances be that you had expertise in the alpaca world? That is a pass completed, and the run inside the 10 all the way down to the 6-yard line for another Cal first down. And there is Nico Remigio. They got to get him the ball, and they did for a conversion.
Key guy. He sets him up nicely inside the 5-yard line. Listen, alpacas are elite athletes coming from high altitude. They have 3 stomachs. And if they're pregnant, they actually spit at male alpacas. That's how you know that they're pregnant.
Come on.
I kid you not.
So Brown inside the 10 gets the handoff and powers his way to the goal line. Christopher Brown, touchdown Cal.
That was impressive. 6'1", 235 pounds. Powering, just being physical, not being denied, going over the left side. Now, great push. You're asking, where was the Oregon defensive front? You see Sewell hanging on to his foot, but great push by the left side of that Cal offensive line. Look at the drive over there by Will Craig, number 74, taking Oregon into the end zone.
Is being reviewed.
Man.
They are going to review that one, which I understand. The knee came down, was very close, was the nose of the ball across the goal line.
But listen, I mean, if you're talking about the need for Oregon to be physical, that play right there shows you they're not there yet in this game. I mean, this is inside the 5, and this is get after. You see the knee on the ground, can't see the ball there.
It looked to me like the ball was short when the knee was on the ground. So we'll see.
Yep. But Flem, you know what I mean about that, the physicality of the Cal line there? I mean, that was pretty significant.
I do. And it's troubling for Oregon because Mario Cristobal, the whole way he wants to build this program is along the lines. Offensive line, defensive line, with big, strong, tough guys. That's how he wants to build his program. And the last few weeks, as you say, Oregon on defense, I mean, offense, they moved the ball just fine. Defense, they have not held up.
It's hurting him to his core.
After review, it's determined that the knee was down prior to the goal line. The ball will be spotted at the half-yard line and will be second down. The clock will start on my signal.
All right, so here's a chance for Oregon to flex its muscles, show a little toughness at the goal line. Not going to be easy. Brown, I think that's the look they used.
Yep. You see the ball is short there. It's a good angle. Well, This is where Cal will come in with the extra hefty, couple tight ends, two tight ends, and also your big fullback Schlegel, the alpaca guy, at 225.
Under center, Garbers hands it off to Brown, and Brown lunges, stops short. He did not get there. Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau, who's coming off his best game by far from last week. Thibodeau, the talented sophomore, made the play.
Rising up, showing folks he's more than just a pass rusher.
You can tell how much Mario wants his defense to come up with a stop here. Brown again is the tailback. 3rd and goal. They fake it. Garbers rolling. Garbers diving, and he got knocked and stopped short. Took a big hit. So Cal, 2 more chances to get in from the goal line. Couldn't do it. Now it's 4th and goal.
Yeah, and I also thought that was that Williams who came over 15? Yeah, he took some of that
to
as well.
2-3-2.
Big hit.
Yeah, Bennett Williams, the safety.
Yeah, he took a little bit of the punishment on that one too.
But he saved a touchdown. That was a heck of a play. Now on 4th and goal, Cal's going for it. And Bradrick Shaw is in, but Garbers will sneak it forward, and he gets in. So the Bears decide to go for it on 4th and goal. Why not? Looking for your first win of the year. And after the review took the touchdown away, it took them a few extra plays, but Cal is on the board leading 6-3.
Yeah, back to basics on that one. It was, look, let's just go right at them. Watch the right side of the offensive line. They got such a push that actually Metallier, the right guard, didn't block anybody. He found his own way into the end zone. But Safel at center did a great job. Curran, the right tackle, good push.
Extra point. Cal doesn't take those for granted, that's for sure, is up and good. So the Bears, with an impressive drive, have taken a 7-3 lead. We got Pac-12 people all over the place, Matt, and the Pac-12 this week with a full slate of games. Everybody in the conference playing. USC and Washington State had to push to tomorrow to clear enough USC players to be available, but it's nice to see the Pac-12 with the full complement. Short kickoff there, and Oregon returnable outside the 30. Jalen Red with the return for the Ducks. Our drive recap brought to you by Downey Defy. It was 13 plays, Rod, for the Bears, 75 yards.
And they finished it on the ground, but a lot of throwing to get it down. Crawford with a big catch in the drive. Schlegel out of the backfield, catch and run again. Yards after catch, set things up nicely before finishing it on 4th down with Garbers with a big push up front, getting into the end zone.
Went for it on 4th and goal. Punched it in. C.J. Verdell is in for the first time. That's good news for the Ducks after missing basically the second half of last week. They said he was good to go. We didn't see him the first 2 drives. He'll get his first carry straight ahead. And the ultra-talented C.J. Verdell, the junior from Chula Vista, with a gain of 5 on 1st down.
A little worried about him not being in the lineup. Here's a guy who has had 2,000-yard rushing seasons. Not going to get a 3rd one this year like LaMichael James, but had a shot at it. He got a little banged up last week.
2nd down. Verdell gets another carry, bounces off one would-be tackler, and surges ahead about 2 yards shy of the 1st down.
He is a guy with great vision, great toughness. Not the biggest guy, but big enough. And I think they get a little juice when he's in there. He can catch the ball out of the backfield too.
Talented running back room for the Ducks, but I think there's no question who the lead Duck is. That's C.J. Verdell. 3rd and a short 3. Shuck hands it off. Verdell got swarmed. Another good play by the Cal defense, and that's Cameron Good again, who is having a heck of a first quarter.
Yeah, Cameron Good makes a tackle. Well, Brett Johnson, oh man, he just destroyed everything over there. I mean, he's on that left side, and just watch the traffic that's created because he stops everything. That's big old number 90 who just creates a pileup, which allows Good to come in and make the play. And Brett Johnson may be the best interior defensive lineman in the conference.
Two of Cal's very best players combining for a big stop. So on 4th down, Remigio again back deep to receive. Catches this one cleanly with room ahead. Remigio, that quickness, 25-30. Bounces it right side, gets around the corner. He's to the 50. There is a penalty flag. Finally, it was Tom Snee, the punter, who knocked him out of bounds. But we'll see how much of this is coming back. Nico thinks a lot of it.
Got his confidence catching that first punt, not dropping it and saying, okay, I'm back to normal. All is good. So next step.
Return. Holding, number 25 of the return team. This 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Be 1st down for California.
That's a big time penalty. That was a 43-yard punt return. So move back with the penalty yardage. That's a huge difference in field position.
Yeah, right here. You know, you got to let go. Got to let go. You see 25 holding on, holding on, holding on. Got to let go.
Cal does get the ball back. Typically a very under-penalized team, a very disciplined team. Bears offensive line up front. They've got 2 of their stalwarts back, not a third. Valentino Daltoso is not going to play tonight. Jake Curhan and Will Craig both are available for Cal and in there, and before they even snap on 1st down.
False start, number 62 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 1st down.
Young Ben Coleman, who one of those fill-ins, Rod, who they say has really emerged. They think he's going to be a stud up front for them as the years go on, commits that penalty.
Yeah, well, he comes by it honestly. His dad was an offensive lineman at Wake Forest, played in the NFL, taught him some things when he was young, and he kept growing.
1st and 15. Cal with the 7-3 lead. Final seconds of quarter number 1. A little pass fake and draw run. Damian Moore's first touch goes nowhere. Thibodeau again.
And Thibodeau has really come on. You know, the first couple games of the season, he's getting a lot of attention, but last week had a great game, and he's off to a great start tonight.
Well, that is the final play of the first quarter. Mario Cristobal and the Ducks trying to bounce back. Cal looking for their first win. It's the Bears up 7-3. You're watching the Pac-12 Conference on ESPN from Berkeley, California, the unmistakable scene. They usually call it Tightwad Hill. Folks who don't want to pay to be inside Memorial Stadium. In this 2020 year with no fans in Pac-12 stadiums anywhere, I would call it folks desperate to see some football in person Hill. And it's hard to blame them, even though they've been asked not to be up there. It's hard to blame them for wanting to be a part of this scene. Garbers throws deep to nobody. Incomplete on the first play of the second quarter. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Taylor McGregor with you from Memorial Stadium. It is 3rd and 14 now for the Bears.
Out of the pocket, ball across the line of scrimmage.
It looked like a few of those folks, were most of them, I guess, were being socially distant and wearing masks. You know, we've got a stay-at-home order that goes into place in this area midnight Sunday night. Cal will be fine for practice next week. They have an exception for them.
Yeah, Stanford, the 49ers, they did not get exceptions. They've had to make extraordinary plans also in the Bay Area. That play turned up field, and the tackle with the stumble forward. I don't think Jake Tonjes got there. Just a little bit short. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, and even though all the analytics will tell you if you have 4th and less than 3, you should go for it. They don't tell you about what happens when you go for it in your own territory.
I tell you what, he got close too.
Yeah, he did.
That dive forward, that ball nearly got there. They're going to send the punt team out though, and Dye will be back to return for Oregon. Fair catch made about the 26. Another flag.
Illegal substitution. 12 players on the defense.
Whoa.
This 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Wow, that's huge, and just a terrible mistake for Oregon. That cannot happen in that situation. It just gifts the Bears a first down.
It usually happens when you have a sub package on the field for defense or a substitute, you know, because normally the defense just stays out there. But then when you have that change, your regular punt return has to get on the field. So sometimes somebody forgets. Yep. You got 11 up front and you got 1 back to receive.
Well, maybe there was a little confusion with, do we keep most of the defense on the field in case there's a fake? Are we sure they're going to punt the ball away? Whatever the reason, that is not supposed to happen. So Cal will take it 1st and 10 from their own 34-yard line. A gift. Hand off, and they're going to pitch it back to Remigio, who gets a block and gets tripped up. Wow, he was starting to turn on the jets. That was a nice tackle for Oregon to limit the gain.
And they're trying to make sure that they feed him, and that's a smart thing. When you go a couple of games without getting the football to one of your star players, you have to make sure he touches it. And Remigio gets it a couple times here. You know, whether you have to hand it to him, throw it to him, he's got to touch it more than he has been touching it the last couple of weeks.
I mean, he knows how close he was to springing a big game, watching up on the big video board at Memorial Stadium. Now the handoff, and with the lunge straight ahead, about a yard short to set up 3rd and 1 for Damian Moore.
Interesting to see what Cal will do here. Will they go heavy as they have before? A couple of extra tight ends and just straight up go after Oregon. Yep, couple tight ends. It's been the right side that has had a dominant game so far for Cal's offensive line.
They will run left side, and bouncing it out there with a nice run for a first down easily, Damian Moore. So 1st and 10, Cal. By the way, coming up on Tuesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on ESPN, on the ESPN app, the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings. Plus, Reese and the guys break it all down. Obviously, every ranking gets more and more important. We are not that far. The semifinals are January 1. The Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. It's December 5th here on Saturday. A little pitch play on first down for maybe a yard to Moore again.
Strong effort up front that time. Fauiu doing a nice job. And again, you know, as Taylor said, these guys have been challenged. The Oregon front 7 has been challenged this week to represent what Mario Cristobal says the program is all about, being physical. And they've been pushed around the last couple of weeks.
And Kayvon Thibodeau, the super talent sophomore, has responded. Now whistles before Cal gets lined up. There's a timeout.
First charge timeout of the half, California.
First one for Cal, so we'll step aside ourselves and be right back to Berkeley after this.
Damian Moore finding success again here today after a big weekend last week against Stanford. He told me he's really just felt the game slowed down for him, and that he's been able to find his gaps. He knows nobody would be happier for him than his grandfather, who passed away 2 years ago from cancer. He wears 4 pops on his wristband, on his wrist, every game, and he says he just misses him so much, but is thankful for everything that he did for his life, and he would not be here without the influence of his grandfather, guys.
A guy coming off a terrific game. They are so excited about what Damian Moore can bring to this Cal program. He gets stopped after a gain of 2 to set up 3rd down. The Bears and the Ducks here still early in the 2nd quarter.
His grandfather was a big part of his life, helped raise him. He attended pretty much every game and practice while he was growing up. So he was very close to him.
Damian from Bishop Amat High School has produced so many great football players over the years. 3rd and 7. Garber's in the pocket, throws, and that one is caught. The shove out of bounds, but the catch good enough for a first down. Makai Polk.
Quick passing game. Get the ball out quick. Don't stress young offensive linemen with pass protection for a 5-step drop. It's 3 steps, get it out. I expect that Oregon tends to play a lot of zone. It wouldn't surprise me if they switched up a little bit of man to take away the quick throws, the quick routes, and to force Cal to hold the ball a little bit longer. Right now, they can get the ball out when they want.
Garber's playing well. Shaw back in. I formation as the tailback. And they'll fake it to Shaw. Garber stepped up, got away from Thibodeau nicely, and then threw a little bit short. I don't know if Tonjes thought he should have caught it or not, but still, that play was there to be made. Instead, 2nd and 10.
All that action, the misdirection and everything is designed to get those linebackers like Sewell moving in the wrong direction. You know, you'll see number 1 to the left flags way out of the picture because he saw all of that action, and you create a window for Tonjes right in the middle of the field.
Not a perfect throw, but I still think that one should have been caught by a guy who has been very reliable at tight end. 2nd down, handoff to Brown. He bounced it left and gets wrestled out of bounds.
Nice play by Lenoir. You cannot play that any better from the secondary. He was patient, kept his eyes open, read everything, and didn't overreact. Waited for the bounce outside, didn't give up the outside, and made the play. Watch, 0 will come into your picture right now. Patient, goes to get it. Nice.
Yeah, that's a DB just annihilating a 230-pound stud tailback. That was pretty impressive.
Size matters not.
Garber's on the move. Garber's, who's got great speed, is going to get the first down and much more inside the 20. Great decision by Chase Garbers. He doesn't run a ton, but he usually picks his spots well. That's a gain of 21.
Yeah, about 8 to 12 times a game. And if you're Oregon defensively, you have to always spy him. But your spy has to be as good of an athlete as he is. It makes no sense to have a lineman or a linebacker who can't run spy this guy. He will not care. He'll just run away from him, as you just saw.
How about that? Cal, the last scoring drive was 13 plays. This will be the 13th play of this drive. They're playing keep away in this first half, and a powerful run inside the 10, close to the 9.
Bill Musgraves, the offensive coordinator, doing a nice job of mixing up plays, mixing up formations. You get some 2 tight end situations. We've had 4 wide receivers. We've had 3 receivers and a single back. We've had some zone read. He's mixing in the West Coast offense with a little bit of the modern day stuff.
I like a play sheet that doesn't look like it has 8,000 options on it. Bill keeps it simple. Marcel Dancy had that last carry, his first touch of this game. Got 5. Garber's going to pass. No, he's going to get sacked by Thibodeau.
How about that pass rush by Thibodeau? I mean, this wasn't about speed. This was about power. Watch him just take. He's on the right side. Watch him take his man right back to Garbers. This is not speed. This is I'm going over you. Pretty impressive.
Well, that's Will Craig, who's been one of those linemen who's been missing with contact tracing for several weeks. Hard to simulate that in your little quarantine workouts, trying to stay sharp. Garber's on 3rd down. Scrambling, he'll throw, and that one is caught inside the 10, but the tackle by Lenoir, who made a couple of really good tackles on this drive. Now a flag thrown, and a couple flags late. That one could be another big mistake for the Ducks. We'll see, because they had stopped Cal.
Well, they had stopped them earlier, but the 12 men on the field kept the drive alive for the Bears.
All the things nicely we've said about Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he was the guy who got flagged there. Mario Cristobal talking to him.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 5 of the defense. This is his first of the game. The penalty will be half the distance of the goal with an automatic first down.
Wow,
That's a huge penalty.
I mean, that is two major penalties against Oregon in this sequence.
Well, you can't get involved in personal confrontations during the game. Yeah, there was a guy who saw a guy that maybe blocked him down the field after the play, but you can't respond. Gotta wait till you get your chance later.
I will say Jake Curhan sold that one. I don't think that was quite the shove that Jake made it seem to be, but he got the penalty flag thrown. Now Brown straight ahead, gets stopped a yard short.
Yeah, Slim, so the difference there, though, is that instead of a field goal attempt, that penalty gives Cal a shot at a touchdown. So it's not just a 15-yarder or half the distance. It's a difference in points.
Second and goal. Handoff again, Brown. And again, Oregon's defense. Well, they are stiffening up along this goal line. It has not been easy for Cal these last two drives to punch it in.
Well, Kristen Williams stepped up there. I mean, he was up there showing you how you take on a block, disengage, and make the tackle. That was all him. All him.
Redshirt freshman and another player that Oregon thinks is going to be really good. So Cal facing third and goal. This will be the 18th play of the drive. 18.
You have to think quarterback run down here, too.
Garbers gives it to Brown. Brown still fighting. Reached forward. They say he's short. Stopped him short. Is Cal going to go for it again?
Backside pressure. Backside pressure got that play, and now fourth down. If you've gone for it once and you're Cal, you got to do it again, right? Makes no sense to kick the field goal here.
This will be the seventh play from basically the one or inside the one in these last two drives. Cal, they sneaked it last time to get it in. They bring in Shaw, who was in there for the sneak on fourth and goal last time. They're going to fake it to him. Garbers will throw, and it is knocked away, incomplete. Oregon comes up with a stop, but there's a penalty flag.
Nice job by Williams.
Oh my goodness. Is Oregon going to commit another penalty?
The 15 of the defense. Foul occurred in the end zone.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Penalty is half the distance and an automatic first down.
You got to be kidding me.
Bennett Williams called for pass interference.
You got to be kidding me. Look, pass interference means impeding the receiver. It doesn't mean that there's contact. Left hand is low. That's not a foul. You can brace yourself. That's a bad call. That is a bad call.
I mean, that's going to cost Oregon 7 points.
That's a bad call.
Assuming Cal can, well, and we shouldn't assume that because they have had a terrible time from the one. This time they get it in with Bradrick Shaw. Touchdown Bears.
That is horrible. That is a bad call. And if I'm Williams, I have every right to be upset about that pass interference call in the end zone.
Think about that drive. A punt penalty against Oregon that gave Cal the ball back for an illegal substitution. An after the play unsportsmanlike penalty that instead of Cal kicking a field goal meant first and goal. And then after it looked like Oregon had stopped the Bears on fourth and goal and gotten the ball back, Bennett Williams called for that pass interference. And on the 19th play of the drive, Cal finally gets it in with the extra point up and good. It is 14-3. Wow.
Offensive line and making sure they have some play here. But look at this play. That's the key penalty. Good coverage, but they called pass interference. Ducks, you have a right to be upset, but Cal's up. Another touchdown.
Well, Oregon may be feeling a little picked on by this Pac-12 officiating crew after the last sequence that we just saw. Tyler Shuck and the Ducks offense, they have work to do. Cal 14-3. Bears big underdogs in this game at home, looking for their first win with big expectations coming into the year. Cal's season has really been wrecked and interrupted by COVID protocols as much maybe as any program in the country, looking for their first victory. Oregon, meanwhile, in some trouble here, down 14-3. They will get the ball back at the 25-yard line. Let's go down on the field to Taylor.
Want to tell you a little bit more about Tyler Shuck and his mom, Dana. Tyler does not need to look too far to find a reason to have a positive attitude and a fighter's mentality. It's something that his mom instilled in him when he was just 5, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. She was given just 9 months to a year to live, underwent several rounds of chemotherapy, had a double mastectomy, all while being a trial patient for this new drug. Well, that drug ended up saving her life. She's cancer-free on this day despite having a relapse in 2012, and that drug is now protocol. So she's living proof of the value of research, and as you can imagine, Dana, an inspiration to her children. She really taught them that it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond, and she really wanted to teach her kids that lesson, that the way you respond is ultimately your character, and you can see that played out through Tyler, guys.
Well, and Taylor, I'm sure that Dana was listening intently to your telling the story of her amazing fight against cancer, and then in the middle of it she stopped listening and started screaming for her kid who's running again. Tyler with 2 excellent runs. So the Ducks are on the move behind their sophomore quarterback, number 12. It is, of course, we know how challenging a time this is for everybody, but whatever you can give to the V Foundation during V Week, v.org/donate is much appreciated to help Dana, to help so many others who continue their fights against cancer day after day. We truly do appreciate it. Tyler's mom is an amazing woman. CJ Verdell just got stuffed and body slammed on second down by Brett Johnson.
Yeah, to think about what she went through and her battle all these years, all the chemo, all the experimental drugs, each and every day, living with cancer, fighting through cancer, and her family with her, it's remarkable, just remarkable.
And you've made the point, Rod, that it's no fluke that her son has been so resilient in his own career. And the two of them talked this week about, look, okay, you can dwell on the loss for a day. It's time to move on. That's what we do in our family. And Tyler and the Ducks trying to do that on third down. That throw right on the money for a first down and much more into Cal territory. Completes it to Jalen Redd.
Well, he's got that pink wristband on his left arm. He wears because of his mom. And it reminds him, you know, to fight, to hang in there. And he was really down after last week's loss, and you know, he threw a pick in the 4th quarter. He felt responsible. His team is down by 11. You see the left arm there with the pink band. He's fighting back right now.
1st and 10 Ducks. Shuck will throw deep. Might have taken a hit into traffic, and I think he completed it inside the 5. There's a fight for the ball. And Oregon came away with it. That's Travis Dye. There is another flag down on this play.
What a catch, though.
Holding. 56 of the offense. This is a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Man, so that one will be negated.
Yeah, but you talk about a 50-50 ball and going up and getting it. Travis Dye did that. I mean, this ball, for all intents and purposes, you know, you'll see Bass, he's the left guard there. He's the one that gets flagged for the holding here. Complete takedown from behind. But look at that. In front of 2. Go up and get it. Good call by the officials there.
Probably didn't take much of the sting away. Would have been 1st and goal, Oregon. Instead, it's 1st and 20 back outside the 40. That's a huge difference. Play fake. Shuck rolling. What a attempt there to try to get it over the top to Redd, but it was incomplete.
Oh, Flynn, he does not miss many, but he had Redd wide open. A little too excited, a little bit too much on it. Watch, little route here, fades out to the sideline, wide open.
So instead of a big gain, it's 2nd and 20. Pressure comes immediately. Another screen play. Abidi Lakio got tackled after a gain of just a few. That was well defended by the Bears. Coin Deng made the tackle.
And if you're Joel Moorhead, the offensive coordinator for the Ducks, you're thinking 2 downs. Let's try and get half of this, and then I'll try and talk the head coach into letting me go for it on 4th down.
I think that's exactly what Oregon's strategy would be here. So we'll see. 3rd and 16 from the shotgun. Shuck pressured immediately. Has to step up. Slings one down the sideline wide open. Caught. Touchdown. Johnny Johnson.
I think Tyler Shuck has fought back. This was his drive.
That was a great play.
This was his drive. Watch him buy some time, extend, but he keeps his eyes down the field and finds his good buddy, Johnny Johnson, all alone. This was Tyler Shuck's drive. You know, Flynn, he could have taken off and run with that ball, but he kept his eyes down the field and came up with the big play.
I think that's what you've liked about him through these first 4+ weeks is he can run. He will run. He will run effectively. A flag thrown as that ball gets kicked, but he wants to throw. He wants to be a quarterback.
False start, number 71 of the offense. This is a 5-yard penalty. The try will be from the 8.
The Oregon's got to do something about all these penalties.
It has been a huge factor in this game. So Henry Cattleman will try from a little deeper. He has a very strong leg. The inexperienced sophomore, second game as the lead place kicker. That one is up and good. So Cattleman converts, and the Ducks are back within 4. Do we have another flag? Why not? We're just going to get one on every play now.
You know, they do this to you. They really do.
Personal foul, hands to the face. 71 of the offense. This is a 15-yard penalty.
Goodness.
We will replay the try.
So now it becomes a lot less routine. You've had a 5-yard penalty, and now a 15-yard penalty against maybe the biggest man on the field.
Amu Ulu got hit with that one. I mean, this is a field goal attempt now.
Yeah, it's 41 yards for an. All you get is 1 point, but you got to kick it 41 yards. His longest field goal in his career came last week. It's still his only field goal until this week, and it was 33 yards. So this would be his longest kick that he's ever made in his brief Oregon career. Can we please get organized for the point after? After all that, right down the middle. Well, in case you forgot, after all that, how the Ducks responded and got a touchdown. Rod, should we take another look?
Yeah, a little bit of a Shuck. You know, great job with his feet, awareness, eyes down the field. Johnny Johnson finishes it.
Heck of a play from number 12, Tyler Shuck. He and the Ducks still down 14-10. 3 for 4 Tyler was on that last drive, including the long touchdown pass. So Cal's going to get the ball back.
He was responsible for 85 of the yards on that drive.
That's a lot of the yards. Some penalties gave them some extra chances to pile on the yardage. Fair catch made.
The ball will be placed at the 25-yard
So the Bears will have it when we come back to Berkeley right after this. Sometimes Matt, Jesse, and Joey, they have to go quick tempo for those half times when you get a day like you've had today. How about Cal? They did not get the ball first to start this game. Oregon got it first. Cal's still run 35 plays to Oregon's 23. They've had 17 minutes of possession. They'd like to possess it, I would think, for the final 2 minutes of this first half. Good tackle by Oregon on first down.
They're playing keep away, and it keeps the Oregon offense off the field. It also helps the Cal defense because they don't have a lot of defensive linemen who can play a lot of snaps.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cal's depth is so compromised on that side of the ball. Moore, nice straight ahead run for the true freshman Damian Moore. Stopped maybe a half-yard short. It's 3rd down, and Cal is trying to hurry up and get to the line quickly. Third and 1. Moore cut it back. Yeah, maybe a little dangerous there, but he got the first down easily. So 1st and 10 Bears, and we'll see if they pick up the tempo even more.
Yeah, they should. They've got 2 timeouts. Chance to move the ball to get in position for at least a field goal attempt.
Final minute 10 of this first half from Berkeley. Garber's in the pocket, throws short left, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Tonjes.
They're seeing the same coverage. Oregon playing a lot of 3 deep coverage, coming up and attacking receivers after they make the catch. But this is Cal's passing attack. It's a 10-yard or less throw. That's who they are. I don't expect them to really try and air it out or take some deep shots. It just hasn't been their style this season.
Clock did stop on the incompletion, so Cal still has those 2 timeouts. 1:04 to go first half. Garbers with some pressure coming steps up. Now Garbers on the move, will sling it downfield, incomplete, trying to hit Polk coming across the field. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, good pass rush, difficult throw when you're running full speed for your life. Accuracy is going to fall off some. Now if you're Oregon, start thinking about your timeouts. You've got a 3rd and 10. You get a stop here, you might have a chance.
Well, unlike Cal, Oregon's got a remarkably explosive offense that has come up with so many big plays, chunk plays. So the Ducks, in 45 seconds, that would be plenty of time for them to even if they have a long field ahead of them, to at least have a shot at some points at the end of the half. Now whistles blow. Cal was getting ready to hand the ball off.
Second charge timeout, California. This will be 30 seconds in duration.
For Cal, now they have just 1 left. So while we have a moment,
reintroducing himself as only he can with a pick.
Josh Allen's an MVP candidate. So is that guy Aaron Rodgers, one of the all-time Cal greats, who's having another excellent year in his Hall of Fame career. 3rd and 10 after the timeout. Wow, that was kind of a dangerous throw. It falls incomplete. It's 4th down, and that Cal drive was not pretty. So 54 seconds. Oregon doesn't have to use a timeout, and the Bears are going to punt. I'm not sure what the point of that throw is.
Well, everything got sped up. Good call by Andy Avalos, the defensive coordinator. Brought pressure, showed it to them, and brought it, and they couldn't handle it. So Garbers had to throw it away.
Cal gets the punt off. Jamison Sheehan, and it's going to bounce out of bounds.
Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack. Delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Only at Taco Bell.
Well, this is definitely enough time with all 3 timeouts for Oregon to make something happen here. 46 seconds on the clock. The way they've got playmakers all over the field. Let's see what Tyler Shuck and company can do.
Yeah, well, I would think that they would look at the side of the field where Cameron Bynum, 24, is not playing. Stay away from the best corner. You see him top of the screen in press coverage. Work on others in the slot, but don't work on him.
First down, Shuck going downfield, wide open in stride. That's Travis Dye down the sidelines to the 20. Will cut it inside the 10. How about that
Travis
play for the
Dye,
Ducks? 70 yards.
Out of the backfield, blown assignment. There you see Dean trying to come over later. That's a matchup issue. That is designed for him to cover the first back out that side, and that's just unfair. That is a great catch by Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, knowing that in this man situation, he's going to get Dye matched up against Dean. 6'6", 240. Trying to run with a scat back out of the backfield. Not good. That is great play calling, getting the matchup you want by formation.
And the Ducks, who have had in some ways such a disappointing half with big penalties that have cost them points, having to settle for a field goal inside the 5-yard line. They use a timeout. They've got 35 seconds to play with. First and goal, 2 more timeouts. I mean, Oregon's got a chance to finish this first half in style.
Yeah, you got Johnson on the bottom, and you have a slot receiver. Bynum 24 is up top. He's the one you stay away from down here.
Verdell in the backfield. They will fake it to him. Shuck gets upended but falls forward. Is he in? No, he's down at about the 1, and Oregon's going to use another timeout to save as much of that clock as they can.
Oregon, be 30 seconds in duration.
They have 1 left.
1 timeout left and lots of options here. Lots of options. They can actually run the ball with Dye or with Verdell if they like. You see the tremendous effort by Shuck fighting to get into the end zone.
Wow.
Clearly short. You know, quarterback run game still works down here.
I mean, when is he down? You say clearly short. I don't know. I mean, I sure think he's a lot closer than they spotted the ball.
Yeah, I thought it was elbow down with the ball as he spun over.
And it could be. That was close, though. What a great effort by Shuck. Second and goal coming up here. Their specialist in the backfield, a guy who punches it in so often from here, Cyrus Habibi-Likio, is behind Shuck on second and goal. They bring Johnson in motion. They hand it off. Habibi-Likio, touchdown, Oregon. Remarkable.
Tremendous read on that carry. Started it off to the left, broke it back to that hole between the guard and the tackle. You'll see a little bit from this angle, the push down, pinning everybody down to the left. He comes back a little bit to the right. Easy touchdown for him.
Cal had the ball, had a first down, was on the move with about 1:20, had timeouts, is thinking, okay, we get the ball to start the second half. Let's get a field goal, go to the locker room feeling really good. They have to punt. A couple incompletions, let Oregon save its timeouts, and then the big play to start the drive led to an Oregon touchdown.
This is all Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, getting this matchup by formation. Trips to the left and then forcing the linebacker to have to cover Dye out of the backfield. That's just a tremendous job. And then setting it up for a nice, easy plow into the end zone. You know, we talk about Moorhead, and, you know, when we first started talking to him last week or so, I was questioning his judgment, because here's a guy who decided that after leaving Mississippi State, it'd be a good idea to take a 46-hour cross-country trip in an RV with his family to Eugene. That just didn't seem like the right thing to do.
he has fit in beautifully, though, hasn't he? I mean, I think he's. And this is no knock on the way Oregon's run their offense the last few years, but I think he's been a clear upgrade for the Ducks. Their offense without Justin Herbert, who's lighting up the NFL as one of the great rookie quarterbacks in the history of the league, with a guy who never started a game at the college level, is putting up numbers more impressive than last season on offense.
Yeah, well, he's added that pistol option, the RPO to it, much more quarterback run game. You know, and about that trip cross country, he said an hour or two into it, he immediately regretted it.
So 23 seconds on the clock, a short kickoff with the fair catch for the Bears.
Fair catch completed, California.
Well, another reminder, Tuesday coming up at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on ESPN. It'll stream on the app. Exclusive reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings. There was not any change at the top from last week to this. Will there be any change this week? We'll see. Reese and the gang going to break it all down, talk about the implications of the next college football playoff unveiling. Tuesday, 7 Eastern. We'll see if Cal is content to go to the locker room now. The final 2 minutes of this half could not have gone worse for the Bears.
Yeah, you've done a cross-country drive, haven't you?
Not in an RV, though. You will not find me at the wheel of an RV, Rod. Alpacas or no, I'm driving myself or I'm taking an airplane. What a fun half that was with all the penalties and the chaos and the weirdness. We end up with a 17-14 Oregon lead. Matt Berry and gang in studio for the halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5. It's nighttime now in Berkeley, California Memorial Stadium, where the Oregon Ducks, 23rd ranked team in the country, with a 17-14 lead as we start the second half. Yeah, the Bears executed that game plan, played to that formula very well, and then just did not execute in their own 2-minute offense. Gave the ball back to Oregon and gave up a huge play that set up the final touchdown. So a great finish to the half for the Ducks. Cal is going to get the ball to start the second half after another touchback. And you've talked about the play calling from Joe Moorhead. That's been excellent. They have so many playmakers, so much speed on offense. But that guy, Tyler Shuck, and this is just his 5th college start, and he is turning into a star for Oregon. Garbers, first play of the second half, got away from the pressure, and Chase Garbers did well. Oh, Sewell dragged him down, but at least he got some positive yardage there. We check out our first half stats brought to you by PlayStation 5. And those are the numbers that, Rod, you were talking about. The time of possession, the total plays run, all in Cal's favor, but the yardage and the score in favor of the Ducks.
Yeah, and the thing you don't see about those penalties are that the penalties against Oregon were huge. Put Cal in position for scores, including a pass interference in the end zone, which was not, in my opinion, pass interference.
Yeah, 7's a lot for a half, but it wasn't just the total number. It was when they came and what kind of penalties they were that hurt Oregon so much. Let's go down to the field and check in with Taylor.
Thanks, guys. Justin Wilcox really pleased with his offense in the first half. He liked the way that they were able to sustain drives. That 19-play drive, the longest they've had this season. Now, as for Mario Cristobal defending what they've been able to do, he would like to see them better in some of the routes, those mesh routes and switch routes. He said they need to make adjustments there, but a lot of it, he said, we just cannot shoot ourselves in the foot.
Oregon almost jumped there. Thibodeau still got a good break off the ball, and that pass is incomplete, too high for Polk, so it's 4th down. The Oregon defense comes up with an immediate stop.
Yeah, you know, Flynn, what Taylor is talking about is that Cal has been using a lot of the bunch formations, 3 receivers close together near the line of scrimmage, which makes it really easy for them to run receivers from the opposite sides of the field to meet in the middle. That's the mesh. And if it's man coverage, you run off the defensive back. If it's zone, you find a hole.
This time Josh Delgado back to receive the punt for Oregon, and he makes the fair catch signal. So Oregon gets the ball back for their offense right away to start this second half. Well, we appreciate, as always, our All-State Nets program, All-State Good Hands Field Goal program for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities. All-State makes a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State.
New formation for Oregon to start the second half. 2 backs. We're back in a tight end.
Die. They fake it to him, flip it over the top, trying to go to the tight end, and that one was almost intercepted. Cal thinks it was intercepted. Bynum trying to sell it. Incomplete.
He can add acting to his resume.
He can play the piano. We know that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good resume. Yeah, that ball hit the ground. But good effort for a young man who's an NFL prospect player. Guy opted out and opted back in for this season.
Really good corner. Handoff. Dye made a nice cut, and Travis Dye gets wrestled down at about the 39-yard line. 3rd and 3 coming up.
You know, you mentioned Bynum, and you know, part of the reason he opted out, things were tough at home. The pandemic really hit his family hard. You know, his mom lost a couple of jobs. Now, fast forward a few months, his mom and dad are doing fine. They're both back working, but he's a guy who's a really good zone corner, plays press coverage reasonably well, wants to get better at it.
Shuck on the move, trying to change directions and just could not get away. That was a team effort for the Bears defense. Good ended up getting him to the ground. It's 4th down Oregon.
Yeah, and Shuck was looking Bynum's way, and Bynum had great coverage out there, so there was no place to throw it.
So just like this game started, the second half starts with punts on both sides. Nico Remigio stands back to receive this one. Tom Snee gets off a pretty good punt. Fair catch at the 10. So the Bears will have the ball back in Berkeley. Cameron Good, number 19, has been all over the place for the Bears defense. You're watching the Pac-12 Conference on ESPN. A look as those cars stream from San Francisco across the Bay Bridge toward Berkeley, California. Memorial Stadium, the site for this Pac-12 game tonight. Mario Cristobal's got to be, Rod, I think, pleased overall. Hasn't been perfect, but with his run defense, they've been getting gashed lately, and tonight they've held up reasonably well.
Yeah, they've responded to the challenge that he issued this week.
Garbers completes that first down pass. Short gain across the 15 to the 16 to Polk.
Taylor told everyone at the beginning of the game Cristobal had a come to Jesus meeting with his team on Sunday and said this team is about being physical. That starts up front, and the defense has responded in the run defense.
2nd and 4, a little play fake, and that dump pass to the tight end Tonjes for a Cal first down. Taylor.
I asked him about that mentality, how he felt like it carried over into the first half, and he said, I actually don't think I really saw it until those last 2 drives when we got the momentum. So he really is challenging them and did challenge them at halftime to bring it here in the second half.
First down Cal. Garbers, another short completion. That one turned upfield by Remigio, and they have done a pretty good job. They said we got to force feed this guy the ball. He's one of our best players, and he's hardly touched it. He has touched it a little more tonight.
Yeah, those underneath routes, and that's one of those little mesh routes that Taylor mentioned at halftime, and that's where you're going to find him. They are not throwing the ball deep.
Another play fake. They'll throw middle, and that one in traffic is incomplete. Trying to get it to Remigio, who took a big shot.
Yes, he did.
I hope he's okay. That's our 2 impact players meeting with a true impact. Verone McKinley.
Yeah, 23 McKinley, really good player. That's a really good legal hit. Leads with his shoulder to shoulder. He just brings a lot of power with this. I mean, he can bring an impact.
McKinley, who's already been called for 1 targeting this year. Remigio does look like he's okay. That's good news for Cal.
You want your free safety to patrol the middle of the field and let receivers know that it is closed, and that if you do catch it, you will get hit. And that's a good, clean, legal hit.
Good player, just a sophomore from Carrollton, Texas. He is responsible. He's a coach's kid, so maybe it's not a shock, but Verone McKinley is responsible for calling all the defenses, getting everybody organized. You can see him there, number 23. He is often the one barking and pointing and lining his teammates up. Brown, or rather Moore, gets the carry on 2nd and 10 and only got a couple.
The other thing, McKinley is allowed to play pretty deep. Gets you great angles, easier pursuit angles on run plays, and you're able to drive on the ball. And that's become quite a trend. You see Seattle Seahawks kind of made that popular. A lot of teams are now starting to go to making sure they close the middle of the field with the deep safety, and to have him roam and take care of those deep, high arcing throws to the sidelines.
3rd and 7. Cal down 3, 10 plus to go, still third quarter from Berkeley. Chase Garber's in the pocket, throws, and that one is incomplete. He had a receiver open, and Crawford could not haul it in.
Had him. He had him there. He got enough protection, and that ball's got to be on the money. And you saw Crawford lay out. Maybe could have laid out a little bit more, but somehow, some way, the two of them have to connect on that.
So that leads to a second straight Cal punt to start this second half. Delgado back once again. Sheehan angling this punt, and it's bouncing on the turf. Takes a Bears bounce, and Cal will down it at around the 17-yard line. 10:14 to go, third quarter, 17-14. Oregon leads.
My family, there's currently no cure for multiple myeloma, the blood cancer I mentioned, but thanks to the V Foundation and other organizations like them, research is making huge strides and giving us all hope. So your donations make a difference. We do have cancer on the run, and we'll eliminate it one day soon.
Well, it's hard to follow that up, but let me just say this about my broadcast partner, Rod Gilmore. He does not talk about that very often. Rod is a private person. He doesn't like to think that he's burdening other people with what he has gone through, but Rod has been an inspiration for many of us at ESPN, and we commend you for that, Rod. And I think, you know, it's again important for us to remember, if you can, v.org/donate. All donations 100% benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research, and that cancer research is paying off.
It really is.
I mean, we are making progress.
Thank you, brother. But it really is. The V Foundation is really helping make significant strides in solving all types of cancer.
2 incompletions. Sean Dollar's in at tailback for the Ducks. Tyler Shuck going to take off and tried to tough his way to the first down. He did. What a run from Tyler Shuck, who looked like he was going to go down, and he just would not be denied.
Well, we talked about his mother having battled cancer, and he tells us he learned so much from her, toughness and fighting back, and he vowed to fight back in this game after feeling like he sort of let his team down last week, and you can see the toughness. He's fighting with everything to give his team an opportunity to win this game.
This play is being reviewed.
So they're going to review that play and make sure that he did actually get the first down. That's an important play, so I understand why they wanted to stop it and take a look. I thought it was pretty clear that he did get the first down, but they'll check and make sure a knee wasn't down, something like that.
Look at him lower the shoulder and fight for that first down. You know, we have that yellow line there, but that's not the official spot. But it's a pretty good guide as to how close he is.
Yeah, and the knee was down, but I do believe that the ball was across where it needed to be when that knee got down.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I mean, you said it. Daniel Scott, he's a good player, safety, big hitter, came up and was ready to wipe out Tyler Shuck, and Shuck took him on. That way, he was 2 full yards short of the first down.
Yeah, you want to see an example of a quarterback who said, look, I'm fighting for my team tonight. I'm not giving up. That's an excellent play, an excellent example of him. Lowering the shoulder to try to get that first down. They've had nothing going so far in the second half, and he's determined to make it happen on this drive.
That should be good enough.
After
Watching those
the ruling of a
reviews.
first down stands as called.
Okay, so we move on. First down. Great run by Tyler Shuck. Clock starts to move again. 1st and 10. Ducks still from their own 28-yard line. Leading by 3 in the third quarter. Shuck will fake it, and this time Gets dropped for a loss of a couple yards. Great play by Cam Bynum.
Didn't fool him.
Did not. There's Dana, mom, pregame today, all decked out. She had the Ohana, Oregon look, which was very popular, I think, with the players and the fans from a few weeks ago. I mean, it is amazing, Rod. You talked about your own fight, Dana. 15 years now fighting cancer. She looks great and is just a great mom, a tremendous family, and it's no coincidence that Tyler has turned into such a good player at a young age. He whistles that one over along the right side. That was an impressive throw, and he completed it to Micah Pittman.
Yeah, Tyler told us that his mom Dana still has treatment, takes a pill every day and every 6 weeks, gets checked out, gets a little additional med. But yeah, she's doing great, and that was a great throw. Michael Pittman, nice to have him back out there for the Ducks right here. He's a young man from a football family that is trying to establish his own reputation and own name.
Yeah, could be a big-time player. Just one catch coming in before today. Handoff. Cal had that defended it pretty well, but Habibi Likio still managed to get the first down, we think, but there's a penalty flag again.
Holding, 53 of the offense. This is a 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
It's still third down.
Another ill-timed penalty against Oregon will wipe out that first down run.
That's Ryan Walker, the right guard.
Former walk-on who really has played well for Oregon up front. He's been one of their best offensive linemen, but that's a damaging penalty. 55 yards really doesn't tell the story for Oregon because the penalties have come at terrible times.
The timing has been awful for the Ducks.
Pistol on 3rd and 11. Shuck in the pocket. That one's incomplete. He had Jalen Redd, and maybe the pressure made him get rid of it just a little too early. The penalty ends up meaning Oregon has to punt the ball away.
Yeah, the pressure did. It was in his face. He didn't get a chance to set his feet, even though he had Redd out there. And Cal has picked the right time to bring the pressure, and the penalties have helped them out a little bit there too.
They have. So Remigio, who's returned very cleanly tonight. He's had problems this year, sort of out of nowhere. Catches this one, going to try to use his speed. Got a huge hit there at the 35. He's taken 2 big hits now in the last few minutes, and another flag thrown on that return.
Personal foul. Targeting Oregon, number 48.
Wow.
This penalty is being reviewed.
So the tight end, Hunter Kampmoyer, who's a good player on offense, yeah, I think that is targeting.
Well, you don't have a defenseless player there, so it's got to be leading with the crown.
Oh,
and that's
from that angle, it looks different.
Yeah. Remember, it's a 3-step analysis. You start with, did he lead with the crown? Is there an indicator? Did he lower his head? Did he launch? Did he crouch? I don't see any of that. And then finally, the last prong, is there any forcible contact to the head? I don't think that meets the definition. So that's not targeting.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell from that angle, but the other angles, I think you may well be right. I guess the last part of that equation for you, does that count as forcible contact to the head or neck area?
Well, I don't see forcible contact to the neck or head area. I don't see an indicator. I don't see him launching or lowering his head to make contact.
After reviewing the play, there is no targeting on number 48 for Oregon. It'll be first down.
A good job by the review booth, the replay booth, to wipe that one out. A good explanation by you.
Hey, what
no
about
targeting.
Me? Hey, credit to me for getting it right, huh?
And I did. So Cal will have the ball back here. And Oregon gets to keep one of its top players on offense. Hunter Kampmoyer's made an impact since getting healthy. He stays in the game.
Yeah, losing him would really hurt some of the packages they like to use out there.
Well, how can this Cal offense get revved back up again? They had success early in the game, not so much the last few drives.
Well, I really believe that at some point here they really have to try and stretch the field a little bit. You know, Oregon is getting really comfortable settling in, looking for those crossing routes, you know, looking for the exchange routes, the switches between receivers. So they're not too concerned about anybody getting behind them.
Marcel Dancy in the game at tailback. They'll hand it to him. Dancy with his burst of speed and some power at the end of the run. Got close to the first down.
Well, Cal just decided we're going to come out in 2 tight ends, and remember all the trouble Oregon had stopping the run? Well, we're going to go back and test them again. We're going to go heavy and go right at them. See if we can wear him down a little bit.
You could imagine the head coach asking that man, Bill Musgrave, who's a really good offensive coach, but you can imagine the head coach saying, where's our running game gone?
Yep. Let's not give up on it. Stick with it.
2nd and 1. Dancy kept his balance and gets the first down into Oregon territory. What a terrific effort from Marcel Dancy.
Yeah, young man from Oakland, Laney College, played for John Beam over there. Outstanding coach, was an outstanding high school coach. Might have seen him as the prime figure in the Last Chance U show that recently aired this year. And Dancy certainly made that on his own because Oregon sniffed that out, but he kept going to pick up the first down.
Well, the drive chart has gotten uglier for Cal as the game has gone on. Play fake. Garbers on 1st and 10. Slings it out to Dancy in the right flat, and he gets upended. That gives us a chance to check in with Matt in studio.
All right, guys, have your all-state spotlight. The Alabama offensive line. For Devontae Smith to catch 4 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown. 28-14, Bama over LSU.
Well, the LSU's defense has gotten a little better, Rod, since we saw them early in the year when they were just an unmitigated disaster. But too tough of a challenge, I think, tonight for LSU against Alabama.
Yeah, agreed. And Cal now focusing on making sure they get the ball to Remigio a little bit more often. And that's a smart move. I mean, I'm sure they got to halftime and looked and said, one catch and one handoff. We got to get the ball to him more.
I mean, he's got to be, wouldn't you say, on this roster, one of their 10 best players coming into the year,
Absolutely.
I would think. He had 9 rushing yards in the first 3 games. 9 total. Garbers over the top end zone. There he is for a touchdown.
And that's what we've been talking about. Stretching the field. They got caught up with the short routes, and they finally got Oregon settling in, and then the second receiver out to that side, Remigio, all by himself. He had a good 5-7 yards beyond the nearest defender.
Hey, that was also good ball handling by the quarterback. That was a great play fake, and Garbers, for a half second at least, held the ball behind his back to hide it. I think that helps sell the play. The extra point is up and good. Well, you've been talking about it all game long. Get Nico Remigio the ball, and they have finally done that tonight. The touchdown to put the Bears back ahead. Well, the Cal offense had sort of stalled out over their last 3 drives. Not that one, though. Nico Remigio has been way too quiet in 2020 for such a talented player, and Cal's finally found a way to get him the ball tonight. 4 receptions for 9 total yards in the first 3 games tonight. He's got a rush that was a good play, and now over 60 yards and a touchdown, his best play of the year so far. Cal back ahead 21-17, 5:09 to go, third quarter in this Pac-12 year, which has been, just so unusual in so many different ways, Rod. And as of right now, the only undefeated teams left, even after so few games, the 2 on the south side, USC and Colorado.
Yeah, you know, which raises a point. You know, Oregon is chasing the Pac-12 title, but USC is still alive, still in the top 25 of the rankings, still alive for the college football playoff. What if USC wins the conference and they're 6-0 or 7-0?
Little pitch play to C.J. Verdell, who's had a really quiet game. Good tackle for the Bear. I mean, look, I don't think there's anybody in the country who is thinking that USC has an argument or a good chance to even be in the argument. But I think there is a different question about why is the Pac-12 being treated so differently than the Big Ten and some of the teams in the Big Ten who haven't played that many games either. Shuck on 2nd and 7 will throw across the middle, and that one's incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, behind him. Yeah. Well, and the other thing, look, is that I really believe the committee made a mistake this year. This was the perfect year to expand to at least 6 teams and allow your Power 5 conference champs to automatically be in. You just can't compare teams with 5 games against teams with 8, 9, 10 games. So the notion that you're going to look at it and treat it similarly with data points, it's unworkable. This is the year to expand it to at least 6 to make it more fair.
They're down in 7 for Oregon, and Shuck, pressured, is going to have to essentially just kind of throw it away. He had a Cal Bear right in his face to knock him down. That's Croteau, who's back this week for the first time in several weeks. They're glad to have the sophomore back. He made that play happen.
Yeah, he came from the middle inside, and he was completely free, essentially, and made a big play. You're right. You know, having him back in action is great, but this is a young man who did not have a lot of practice coming into this game. I mean, getting cleared and getting back on the field, you know, he's not really in football shape for this yet.
So another punt. Cal's defense, I mean, you take away those 2 drives at the end of the first half, Cal's defense has played great. Good special teams coverage for the Ducks there. The open field tackle. So the Ducks special teams has been better. Look, USC plays tomorrow, so they'll get their 4th game in. Strength of record, strength of schedule, very comparable. You can argue about the eye test, and I get it. Ohio State's got a ton of talent, Rod, but 20th versus 4th, it does seem, I think, to a lot of people out west that USC is being treated very, very differently with a short schedule than the Buckeyes are.
Yeah, and the answer is for USC to go play, go win, and then make your argument. I mean, that's really all there is to it for them.
I think your point was a really good one about it's not so much about do we think USC is as good as Ohio State. I don't believe you or I think that. I don't think anybody really thinks that. But
correct.
You know, if we're going to reward teams with a spot in that playoff who fall way short in terms of games played, then why isn't this a year where we could have expanded things and said this is hard to figure out? Those semifinal games are coming up soon. New Year's Day.
Right.
I mean, it's not like everything got kicked backwards. The Rose Bowl's kicking off at 2 Pacific as the first semifinal on January 1st. So
that's right.
With that in mind, this is a very difficult and different task in 2020. Garbers hits his tight end Colin Moore, who's tackled short. That was a good tackle. It'll be 3rd down.
And listen, if 3 of your 4 finalists have played 10 games or more, it's really hard to justify putting in a team that played 6, if you know what I mean. That's part of the issue. And if you're going to put in a team with 6, then you should be looking at another conference champ that has played 6. You may say at the end of the day, well, that's not deserving, but the analysis should happen.
I think that's fair. 3rd and 4. Garbers in the pocket. Ducks need to stop. Garbers on the move. Throws that one, and it is contested along the turf and caught. What a catch by Remillo.
Oh, is he showing out? He is showing out here. Laying out for this one. This is a guy who for the last couple of weeks had been ignored in the offense and ignored in the first half.
Garbers didn't have anywhere to go with the ball, so he just runs out of bounds. Look, Rod, I'm not trying to take credit. We're not trying to take credit, but sometimes the questions are pretty simple. And we sat down with Bill Musgrave this week, and the question was a simple one from us. Why isn't Nico Remigio touching the ball? How is it possible that in 3 games he has 4 catches for 9 yards? And tonight we're seeing why that shouldn't have been the case.
Listen, if your scheme doesn't allow you to get the ball to your best players, then there's something wrong with your scheme.
Draw, and beautifully read by Mace Funa of Oregon into the backfield for the tackle for loss.
What a play by Funa. Freshman All-American last year. He's become one of the team leaders. Just look at him. Quickness into the backfield. Now this is where you may get the simulated pressure from Oregon and then drop off into 8. But I'm looking for 5. Where is number 5 and how do they treat him? This might be prime time for him to get a sack.
He drops into coverage, but they bring pressure from elsewhere and get to Garbers for the sack.
He was the decoy. Thibodeau was the decoy on the right side, making the Cal offensive line look at him and think of him and worry about him. He drops off into coverage, and the pressure comes from the left side. Right side of your screen is where the pressure will come from. Thibodeau is to the left of your screen. There you see, moving out, looking for him. Nothing there, a little twist inside. And Williams is there to make the play.
That was well designed and well executed by the Oregon defense to get the sack, force the punt, and get the ball back for their offense with 48 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Remind me to use my telestrator next time so it's a little easier for you to see it.
Yeah. I'll try to remind you.
Thank you.
Well, Tyler Shough, we've been so impressed with his toughness running the ball, the dynamism at the end of the first half, throwing the ball in the second half, just 1 for 7.
Well, remember, he's taken some shots when he's taken off running. Might be impacting him.
He has. Going to hand the ball off. Dye, left side running with his speed. Gets tackled outside the 40, but a nice first down gain.
We still haven't seen much of Verdell today. He's been in a little bit, but this offense changes, without him. He is a tremendous receiver out of the backfield, and he's a between the tackles runner.
I mean, it's unusual. He's playing, so it's not like, I mean, they wouldn't play him if they thought he was really hurt or compromised, but clearly something's a little off with C.J. Verdell. One thing is Travis Dye has played well. That's a first down run into Cal territory.
Well, Dye was pointing towards this game. He had an awful game against Cal last year, had 2 fumbles back to back, one in the red zone and dropped the pass. And coming home again, so to speak, this area knows a lot of people wanted to play well in this game.
So now we go to quarter number 4 and another close game in the Pac-12. We've had so many of these. The Bears with a 21-17 lead over the Ducks. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 5. 21-17 as we start quarter number 4. The Bears of California looking for their first win of 2020. Oregon trying to bounce back and keep their championship hopes alive in the Pac-12. Travis Dye going to work on this drive. Another big run for an Oregon first down, moving deeper into Cal territory.
Great job inside, little split zone, block one way, tight end comes the other way, and a huge hole opens up for Dye. Dye carrying the load with Verdell on the sideline.
C.J. Verdell has 5 rushes for 9 yards. Dye gets it again. Dye has run really powerfully in this game down to the 21.
He is more than capable of being the guy to carry the mail. Not the biggest guy, 5'10", but he is strong. There you see Verdell on the sideline. We saw him. I don't think we've seen him in the second half. Saw him a few times in the first half.
Maybe just simply a case of riding the hot hand. Travis Dye playing well. Another run that he bounces to the outside, just got tackled short. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Ducks.
This is 2-down territory again for the Ducks. I'd be surprised if they don't go for it on 4th down if they don't get it. And this is also quarterback run territory for the Ducks.
Hard to defend Shuck. Habibi Likio is in, not Verdell, behind Shuck. Habibi Likio gets the ball and just barely, I think he got there. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. That line judge coming in, that spot looks short.
That's a good tackle by Josh Drayton. He knifed in there and made a really good tackle.
And based on that spot, definitely short. So it's 4th down. And Oregon, I think, Rod, is keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah,
including number 7, C.J. Verdell.
Well, he's cold coming off the bench. I'd feel more comfortable making sure that you have Shuck keep the ball here. Quarterback design run.
So they're going to take a look at this and review to see if they got the spot correct.
Knee down, ball down. From that angle, it looks to me to be about maybe a ½ yard short.
Yeah, the first question you have to answer is when exactly did the knee hit the turf, and then where was the ball at that moment?
That's exactly right. There you see Drayton knifing in from the backside. No one blocking him from the backside.
Knee down there. Well,
remember, you need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Stands. 4th down.
I mean, so the call stands. That to me was not a very good spot, and it penalizes Oregon. But whether it was a 1st down or not is a different question. So the Ducks are going to go for it on 4th and a yard.
Yeah, right call. This is the right call for Mario Cristobal to go for it here. 4th down, early 4th quarter. What do you call? I like having the ball in the hands of my quarterback, Shuck, here.
Johnson in motion. Shuck gives it. Verdell didn't get there. He got tackled well short. Not even close.
Was there a little trouble with the exchange there?
Timeout on the field for media.
Braxton Croteau
by Croteau
in the backfield to make the tackle, and we'll see if there was a little miscommunication, exchange problem, or if it was just a heck of a play by the Cal defense and their linebacker Croteau. For folks in this part of the world, Pac-12 country, that Rose Bowl is part of the semifinal this year. So January 1, the traditional start time from Pasadena. 21-17, Cal's defense came up with a huge 4th down stop. So the Bears take over and hand the ball off to Bradrick Shaw for a short gain on 1st down. That 4th down run, the Cal defense played it perfectly.
Yeah, Croteau off the edge makes that play, you know, and there are a lot of old school quarterbacks who are going to say, look, just get under center. When you are in the shotgun, there is room for someone coming off the edge around. If you're under center, hey, sneak it or hand it off. You don't have that issue.
Well, I've been saying that for 15 years, and nobody has listened to me yet. These teams that, I mean, the teams that won't put in a play under center, I just don't understand that. You can run your offense mostly from the shotgun, but I don't understand how teams don't have a short yardage package where you just under center and hand the ball off. But
it leaves you vulnerable to situations like that where you're going to have the defense crashing from the edge on that play. Maybe you do a good job up front, but they're free to crash from the edge and make a play.
I got tired of complaining about it, so I mostly don't complain about it anymore, but now you got me mad again.
You got an audience. You got an audience. I'm with you.
3rd and 8. Jordan Scott made a nice tackle there on that run play. So the Bears Facing an immediate third down. Thibodeau got into the backfield in a hurry. He really blew that play up. Williams is going to get credit for another tackle. There is a penalty flag, though, on the play. Williams, I think, was worried he was going to be called for a face mask, but I don't think so.
Holding. 73 of the offense. Penalties decline. Result of play, 4th down.
Well, Flynn, the other thing is that it was a really smart defensive call by Oregon. They brought Williams down as the spy on Garbers. So they brought pressure, and Williams is sitting in the middle, eyeing the quarterback, as you see the hold right there. He's eyeing Garbers, and when Garbers takes off, he's the athlete who can go get him. First half, they were using linebackers. Now they've gone to the safeties who can chase Garbers down.
Yeah, I think that's been a good adjustment. And for a second straight week, we should say Kayvon Thibodeau is having a big impact for the Oregon defense after a quiet start to the year for the guy who was such a great freshman play wrecker last year. Now a muffed punt by Delgado, but he falls on the football. So the Ducks avoid a disaster. And we'll go to Matt Barry for another studio update.
All right, Flem, you mentioned disaster. I've got your All-State Protection spotlight. And it has been disastrous for the LSU DBs. When Mac Jones gets this kind of time to throw, Devontae Smith, 6 receptions, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Wow.
How good would that Alabama offense be if Waddle hadn't gotten hurt?
Yeah, I mean, they've hardly missed a beat, but it's just they have so much skill on that team, even without Waddle. Shuck gets away from the pressure, and Tyler Shuck will take another hit. Man, we've talked about his toughness for 2 weeks in a row, Rod, you and I. He demonstrates it, but at some point, he's got to avoid some of these big hits.
Yeah, you can't make it through a full season taking shots like that from those 240, 250-pound linebackers and safeties coming at you full steam. He's going to have to learn how to slide and get down.
You know, we asked him about taking hits after not playing for a couple of years from high school, redshirt year, now finally the starter at Oregon, and he said the first couple of weeks felt like he'd been in a car crash. That's how much his body hurt. He said he's feeling better these days. He completes that short pass for a tight end to Cam Moyer. We'll go down to Taylor on the field. Sorry, Rod, for 1 second. We'll go down to Taylor.
After that last stop, offensive line coach Alex Mirabal really getting in the face of his offensive linemen, and they took it personally. They said that was our fault. We're going to be better out there. And right before they went onto this field, he said, all right, this is the type to step up. Let's see what they can do.
Under 10 minutes to go. Play fake. Shuck over to Red, and Jalen Red with that speed got real close, about a half yard short of another first down.
An RPO game showing up a lot more now for Oregon here on this drive. Red, normally a receiver, has become sort of that fly back. They use him in motion. They get him in the backfield, move him around, get the matchup that they like.
Red moves around there pre-snap, handoff, die. No, Shuck kept it, and he'll get the first down inside the 45.
Now how does Cal adjust to a little bit of this? A little bit of tempo. This defensive line has got to be a bit tired. They've played 50 plays, and remember, they don't have backups. They're not substituting for that defensive line.
I mean, that's almost literally true. They don't have backups. Shuck going deep toward the end zone. A jump ball knocked away, incomplete. He tried to challenge Cam Bynum, the best defensive back on this Cal team and one of the best in the country, and he did not win.
Wrong guy. Don't go after that guy. I mean, his guy can get up and can play. Go to the other side. Bynum is the one that you want to avoid here. About 6'1", 200 pounds, can leap. Remember, very experienced player. About 40 consecutive starts or so for him.
And I tell you what, the true freshman Chris Hudson ended up having to play DB himself. He may have saved an interception. Shuck made one Cal Bears defender miss, and now the ball's on the turf. He fumbled it. It got stripped away, and Cal recovers. Comes up with a turnover. Cameron Good with the recovery.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
And Shuck.
Yeah, Shuck fighting for extra yardage. He may be banged up, and Good making the play.
Timeout.
You want your quarterback to get down, right? He's not. And that ball gets poked out by Ding. And Good, man on the spot, Cal gets a stop. Loose ball, air ball.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits.
Well, it was Coin Dang, the senior, who poked the ball loose from Tyler Shuck, and then his fellow senior linebacker Cameron Good. Both of those guys playing well tonight. Coin Dang, who got burned on one long pass play, but just a fascinating kid who was born in San Diego. His parents were caught up in the Civil War in South Sudan many years ago. Came to San Diego. That's where Coin was born. He moved around as a kid. He started his football career at VMI, of all places. Then went to junior college, played basketball there as well. And Cal recruited him. He's a 6'6" inside linebacker who's turned into a heck of a player. A flea flicker. And Chase Garbers is going not all that far downfield. It's knocked away incomplete. Slade Matautia with a good play there to knock the ball away. Coin, who gets his height very honestly. That's Coin as an infant with his mom back in 1998. His mom was 6'4" and still is the rock of that family. Coin, politically active kid, good student at Berkeley, going to do big things. However long his football career lasts.
Two sisters born in refugee camps in Ethiopia and Kenya because of all the war strife that they were trying to get away from.
3rd and 9. Garbers is going down. He gets sacked. So the Oregon defense, after the Ducks coughed it up on offense, the defense came up with a big-time stop. Andrew Faulio, the guy who ends up sacking Garbers to force the punt.
Yeah, and Andy Avalos, defensive coordinator, has been waiting for more of this. They haven't been able to get much pressure, but now tonight you see a little bit of that happening, and at a very key moment, you see him congratulating folks over there. But yeah, Fauliu making that play.
So it's 4th and 15. With 7.5 minutes to go. That punt, Oregon got some pressure on the punter Sheehan, but it was well executed. Bounces inside the 15-yard line. Good finish coming from Berkeley when we come back. All right, thank you, Matt. Meanwhile, here a lot less offense in the second half, particularly for Oregon. I mean, they've got playmakers and speed and dynamism all over the field on this side of the ball, and yet the Cal defense has held Oregon down in the second half.
Yeah, you know, we haven't talked an awful lot, at least shown highlights of him, but Brett Johnson inside has been a monster for Cal. You see the drive chart for the second half for Oregon. Nothing.
Second year in a row. Last year it was Justin Herbert. This year Tyler Shuck. And the Oregon offense having such a hard time against Cal's defense. Shuck throws it. That one into traffic. Almost intercepted. And maybe should have been. Cameron Good just could not quite come up with the interception.
Was his arm hit or something? Because there was no receiver in the area. I mean, that ball came out like a wounded duck, and only Cal players were around it.
You know, Rod, it makes me wonder at the end of that play on the last drive when he got up sort of holding his right side after being stripped of the ball. I wonder whether Tyler Shuck is 100%.
I think you're right. I think that's a good question.
That throw did not look like him. Now whistles and a penalty flag before the play was snapped.
False start. 14 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Makes this even tougher.
Yeah, that was the freshman, Chris Hudson.
Please reset the game clock to 6:47. 6:47. Thank you.
That is the 9th penalty against the Ducks in this game, the most they've committed in any game this year. And it's not really just the total. The penalties have been hugely damaging. Under 7 minutes to go from his end zone. Shuck has to avoid a safety and just did.
Wow.
Swarmed.
I think Oregon expected Cal to drop 8 and play coverage, and they got crossed up. Cal brought the pressure. They brought 6. You see Ding from the out. That's Goodman good from the outside, Ding from the inside, and then everybody else joins the party. But Oregon was expecting Cal to play coverage, and instead they brought pressure.
The best players for Cal on defense, Good and Deng and Johnson, have played really well. That was almost a special teams mistake. Low snap. Snead did well to get it off. Remigio with some room, trying to get to that right corner, and he gets inside Oregon territory all the way down to the 40. Pretty good return. Our college football playoff rankings. We have a moment to take a look at those, brought to you by Capital One. Stayed the same at the top, Rod, from last week to this, and Alabama and Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Florida, all looking like they're going to stay put this week.
Yeah, Cincinnati still hovering around there. Florida is going to take care of itself one way or another. I mean, if they win the East, they're going to face Alabama, so that's going to be an issue for them. What happens with Texas A&M and Cincinnati? And we've already talked about Ohio State. What's the total number of games they finish with? And will that be enough for them to get in?
So huge for Ohio State to play their game this upcoming week against Michigan. And Michigan's got all kinds of COVID problems right now. If they don't play that game and can't play in the Big Ten championship, who the heck knows? Garber's handoff straight ahead. And a nice run for Damian Moore, the true freshman. Under 6 minutes to go. Cal has a chance, Rod, on this drive. If they can work some clock and punch this one into the end zone with great starting field position, they have a chance to take a huge step toward finishing off Oregon.
And let's not forget, this is just not about getting a win. Cal needs to finish with a 500 record of 3-3 to be eligible for a bowl game. So they need this win and 2 more. They cannot afford to lose this game tonight if they want a postseason game.
Considering everything that's happened to the Bears this year, this would be a heck of a win. Thibodeau pressures Garbers, who throws deep down the sideline, and what an adjustment. Incomplete though. Polk came back to get the ball, and I thought he had it, and then he dropped it.
He went up. He went up like he had it. Great adjustment. Yeah, that's got to be a catch. He just couldn't control it. Now the rule is, once you leave the ground, when you return to the ground, you have to control the ball, and he did not complete the process through hitting the ground.
Wow, that should have been 1st and goal Bears. Instead, it's 3rd and 6 inside the Oregon 40. Huge play for the Ducks defense. Garbers with a 4-man rush, coming quickly, dumps that one short, and it was caught. Polk hung on to this one, but he's tackled short of the first down. Garber's shoe came off. What's Cal going to do?
You'd be so tempted to go here if you're Wilcox, but you really should kick this ball. Your defense has dominated the second half. You can back up Oregon, put them in a tough spot. They haven't shown the ability to move the ball the second half. If you go here and you miss it, you give a little life to that Oregon offense.
I mean, they're on the 35. I think you got to go.
I
to
hear
the
you
line.
where that is.
And now they just couldn't. I think part of the issue there, Rod, was the shoe, the cleat for Chase Garbers. He was having a hard time getting that thing back on. So Cal takes the timeout. 4th down coming up. Huge play in this game right after this from Berkeley. Taylor McGregor from Berkeley, California. 4th down. Here we go, Rod.
Flam, you're right. You can't punt from the 35. You've convinced me.
Didn't take much. Receiver in motion.
Where's your pressure, Oregon? Where's your pressure?
It's coming. The throw is caught. What a catch. Contested catch by Nico Remigio, having his breakout game in 2020 for a huge Cal 1st down.
Who else? He's been the most reliable receiver for them tonight. Who do you trust in situations like that? It's who do you trust? Got to beat your man inside, give your quarterback a target. Did a great job of that. Lenoir didn't get a hand on him.
That was a terrific play, and now
Terrific route.
under 4 minutes at the 30, trying to milk the clock, get more points on the board. They'll hand it off. Cal will straight ahead run, and a powerful run. That was a good one for Bradrick Shaw down inside the 25.
Yards after contact, probably 5 of them on that carry by Shaw.
Timeout for an injured player.
Noah Sewell, the true freshman middle linebacker, is hurt.
And he plays so hard. He goes so aggressively every single play without regard to his body. We've seen him carried off the field on a stretcher and then back at practice a couple days later.
Super, super tough young man who comes from a football family. So good to see him at least get up on his own. But clearly not 100%.
Yeah.
Kind of holding that left arm, shoulder area.
For Oregon here, it is hold Cal to a field goal. And so you're likely to get a little bit more pressure from Oregon so that you can push them out of the safety zone of an easy field goal and at least try to make it one that's difficult. Put the burden on Cal to throw the ball.
And not to interrupt you, but the full 40-second play clock once they start that game clock. So Cal's just going to stand in the huddle. Why wouldn't they? Up by 4, 21-17. They're going to take this all the way down. 2nd and 4. Shaw still in the backfield. Garbers hands it off to Shaw, who gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Maybe is going to get forward progress for something. It's 3rd down. And Oregon's not using it. They have all 3 timeouts. They're not using them.
Yeah, you know, if you get a stop here and you believe you can get that stop, that's okay. You'd have a couple of minutes and 3 timeouts. That's plenty if you're Oregon, if you can hold Cal to the field goal.
So now on 3rd and 3, Oregon needs a stop. The Cal field goal operation has not been 100% reliable. That's putting it nicely. 3rd and 3. Everybody bunched up at the line. Another handoff, and that's going nowhere. So the Ducks do get that stop, and now they will quickly use a timeout with 2:06 on the clock. First timeout for Oregon.
That is good clock management by Oregon. And the defense getting a stop, forcing Cal into a field goal situation, and you've got a couple of timeouts. Even if they make the field goal, Oregon is in good shape. You couldn't ask for much more than a couple of minutes and a couple of timeouts and a chance to go down the field and tie it or win it.
And I don't necessarily blame the Golden Bears, but that was very conservative. After they got 6 yards on 1st down, they just basically did a middle handoff 2 times in a row with Oregon stacking the line of scrimmage to set up a field goal try.
Yeah, I mean, they were focused on burning time off the clock, and I believe part of that has to do with how well their defense has played in the 2nd half.
Yeah, Rod, not to interrupt you, but they're not kicking. I mean, that's their field goal kicker. He's not on the field. They're not.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think Justin Wilcox trusts his field goal unit. They're leaving the offense on the field.
I think you're right. Remember, they had 2 blocked last week. Well, they had a field goal block, a PAT block, and came very close to having a 3rd blocked last week against Stanford.
Wow. Now this is something. So it's 4th and 5. Garbers in the shotgun. Is going to throw right side. It is incomplete. Trying to get it to Polk. And Oregon gets the ball back. Cal did not want to try for 3. Now Oregon could score a touchdown and maybe win the game with 2:01 to go.
We talk about being sound in the kicking game. And when you can't attempt a field goal late in the game to put you up by 7, you're not sound in the kicking game. And the problem for Cal is that it wasn't a one-game issue. They've had issues kicking in other games this season, Flynn.
They have. They've had problems on special teams up and down the line. They haven't been able to protect. It's not all been on the kicker. So Justin Wilcox did not want to leave it to that. And now he leaves it to his defense. Tyler Shuck, an offense for the Ducks, back on the field. Dumps it short. Micah Pittman turns it upfield. First down, and he gets out of bounds.
They are not limited to sideline routes since they have the 2 timeouts and a $154. How does Cal play it? Do you drop 3? Rush 3, drop 8. You bring a little pressure. Cal is typically a zone-oriented team. Not a lot of man except for Bynum.
1st and 10. Shuck steps up, slings that one to Jalen Red, who uses his speed to get the first down and also gets out of bounds right at midfield. I mean, the clock is not an issue for Oregon with the 2 timeouts, 1:47 to go.
Yeah, and the complicating factor for Cal is that you have to have eyes on Shuck because he can step out of the pocket and run.
Ducks have to get to the end zone. They're down 4. That one is short to the running back, Habibi Likio, who gets a gain of 5, maybe 6 on first down.
Quick game is working. 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. Negates the pass rush.
Cal looking for their first win in this topsy-turvy season for them. Oregon trying to bounce back and keep their championship hopes alive. Handoff straight ahead and stops short. So the clock is going to wind. That was Habibi Likio again. 3rd down.
Plenty of time. They can still go hurry up, but they need to pick up the first down here. This I don't get. You don't need to burn time here. That second play should have already been called.
3rd and 1. Tyler Shuck drops back to pass. Nowhere to go with the ball. So he's going to run, and he will get the Oregon first down. So for now, while they spot the ball, the clock will stop 1:11 as Oregon gets organized.
And if you're Cal, you want to make sure defensively you know where Micah Pittman is. He's in the slot there. You don't want to have him in the middle of the field.
Under a minute to go. Shuck steps up, throws short, and a big hit. The ball's on the turf. Was that a catch and a fumble for Johnny Johnson? The officials are saying yes. Cal comes away with a football.
Big hit by Ding. Did he have the football? Did Johnny Johnson catch it and possess and control it and make a football move before having it knocked out? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he caught that ball, spun around, took a step. That's control. That ball doesn't come out until he gets the second hit. So to me, that is a catch, control, hit, and fumble. And you're looking for indisputable video evidence to overturn that call. And I don't see any of that.
I don't either.
I think that's the defensive play of the game for Ding.
And he made a lot of good plays. So Cal now with 52 seconds to go. Oregon does have 2 timeouts. So Garbers is coming to the sideline just to get some last-minute instruction face-to-face about what to do here. This game is essentially over. All Cal has to do is execute the snap. Garbers bought a couple extra seconds. Kneels it down. Our Corona premier moment. Coin Dang, who's had a great Cal career, comes up one of his biggest plays as a Golden Bear.
You talk about a big play at a big time. How about this one? Oregon moving for what would be a winning touchdown, and he comes up with the big hit on Johnny Johnson to knock the ball out and have his team recover it and salt the victory away for the Bears, who are now going to get their first win of the season and make the Pac-12 North a mess.
Yeah, and we should say Oregon, I mean, their championship hopes of winning the Pac-12 are still alive, even if they lose this game, just because of the mess and the chaos. Washington losing today in a surprising result at home against Stanford. But Mario Cristobal is going to be hugely disappointed, you have to think, as Thibodeau came in and landed right on top of Garbers as he was taking a knee.
Yeah. Look, Shem, Flem, remember, this is 17 points for an Oregon offense. Cal had this team shut out for 3 quarters, essentially, last year, and they've come back this year
46 seconds.
And held them to 17 points. So Justin Wilcox, you know, has a thing about his alma mater and is able to hold them down in points.
Yeah, they got 14 of those points in about 2 minutes at the end of the first half. Otherwise, they have been just totally shut down in this game by a very game Cal defense. Mario Cristobal arguing here about how many seconds are left, trying to hold on to some kind of hope for a victory, but I think that hope is gone.
Well, think about those last 2 possessions for Oregon. You had a fumble by Shuck fighting for extra yardage, and then also Johnny Johnson spinning for extra yardage, gets the ball knocked out by Ding. So their last 2 possessions, when they had to have it, they had fumbles.
And what does that make the Ducks on the season? -7 in turnover differential. Another game where their defense couldn't come up with a turnover.
Wow.
That's just a huge factor for them. They're trying to just figure out when the clock, what the clock should read. I think as he took a knee, if Oregon got an immediate timeout, then I think they essentially had it right.
Correction, please reset the game clock to 42 seconds. 4-2.
I should make it a personal policy to never ever try to figure out what the Pac-12 officials are doing or saying or deciding.
Oh boy. Hey, look, this one's you. I gave them grief in the first half for that pass interference call in the end zone, which I thought was just awful, but I hear you on the other stuff.
So now Cal has to take a knee here, and as long as there are under 40 seconds to go, Garbers will back up, wait, and gets decked as he tries to go down. But the Bears are not going to have to snap this one again. Justin Wilcox and Cal, everything that they've been through, Rod, it has been a trying month for the Golden Bears. First game canceled, second game quickly rescheduled on the road. Disappointing, crushing loss in big game against their rival Stanford. They finally have a win in 2020.
And how about their defensive line? They lack depth. You're asking 3 guys to really play every single play. Tevis, Johnson, and Johnson getting up there and just wearing themselves out to hang on. And they did a great job tonight.
That is a heck of a win for a Cal team that's been through a lot, and another tough loss for Mario Cristobal and his Ducks. For Rod Gilmore, for Taylor McGregor, our great crew, Dave Fleming saying so long from Berkeley, California. Now to the studio and Matt Berry.